and welcome to CCHA, also known as Clinton County Historical Museum. Here in Clinton County, in upstate New York, somewhere in Plattsburgh, where we call it our home in our community. Today, we always say we have a special guest, but today we really do. Our beautiful guest today is Molly Ryan, that you all know her, but let's see what we can know more about her. Molly, thank you so much for the time.
I'm so excited you asked me.
I am so happy that you're here today. And thank you for spending your Sunday afternoon.
Of course.
I truly appreciate it.
Only for you would I drive to Plattsburgh on a Sunday.
And I know how busy you are,
Yes.
and I can't thank you enough.
Thank you
that.
for having me.
So, are you ready to tell us your story?
I am.
Did you think about it today?
I did. I thought a little bit about what I could talk about, what things have shaped me in my life, what things are important. So,
I love that. And you know, we do that so because you obviously a leader in our community.
Thank you.
You hold in a great position. You help in the community. You volunteer. You do a lot. And we want to show people that you also a human.
Yeah.
And you have every day, day to day,
Yeah.
like all of us. So tell us first where you were born.
Sure. I was born here in Plattsburgh. I've spent my entire life in Clinton County. I grew up in Champlain. I now reside in Rouse's Point, so hop, skip, and a jump away from my parents. And my husband also was born and raised here, so it's a great place to call home, as you said.
So did you live all your life up here?
I have. I spent a little stint in D.C. for a semester. And I went to college at St. Lawrence University, which is over in St. Lawrence County, about 2 hours west from here. But for the most part, I've lived here.
So what are you doing right now?
I'm dual rolled. I am both the executive director for the Industrial Development Agency as well as the director for economic development in Clinton County. Try to say that fast 5 times.
No, I let you say
when
that's
when you're going around a round table and they're like, what's your name and what do you do? And I'm like, blah, 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 blah.
So how exciting that to you?
I can't tell you how exciting it is. I love my job. I work with some amazing people. I have some incredible opportunities that I get to work on behalf of our community. And there's nothing more important to me than making a difference in the place that I've grown up. And I'll be honest, I didn't know what the IDA even was, and I grew up here. So
what's the IDA?
So basically what the IDA does is they give financial incentives to businesses. So that can come in sales tax exemptions or reduction in property taxes. But as we know, it's not exactly always friendly to do business in New York State. So this is one of the ways that we have been creative across the state. There's IDAs throughout all different municipalities and counties, but this is one way in Clinton County that we can help attract and retain businesses here. And how important is that to make sure that we have good paying jobs here? But what's more than that is that I've tried to take that and be more creative because, you know, we can attract all the jobs here that we want, but if we don't have places for people to live, or there's no childcare for people, or all these different things, workforce development skills, we have to really look at economic development in a more of a rounded look rather than in a silo. So it's been my unique opportunity to be able to create some of those things within the framework of the job that I have.
So what shaped Molly to be who you are today?
You know, I had a wonderful family upbringing. I had my grandmother was the Vermont State Democratic Party chairman when she was alive and much long time ago. So I've always grown up in a very political family. My mom was is a teacher, a retired teacher now, but she was a special ed teacher for 33 years. And both my grandmother and my mother were intricately involved in helping our community, whether that was our church or the local Democratic Party, or, you know, my mom served on PTAs and never missed a moment of my entire life. And always prioritized us as kids. I have one sister who's 9.5 years younger than me.
And so you only have one sister?
Yep. I like to tell her she was a mistake, but and we're very close. And but I think just having a solid foundational upbringing with my parents and my family has been a big part of what shaped who I am.
How about your relationship with your mom and dad?
I'm, like I said, they're 5 miles from my house. They have, I gotta tell you, I don't know how people move to communities and they don't have parent support, because I couldn't do it by myself. I couldn't be the person I am today without that support. You know, when I was working on one of my first campaigns, My mom was the one. My husband was working nights, and campaign work happens at night because that's when people are home, and so my mom took care of my children for me, so I could do those types of things. When I went to Albany, my husband really stepped up and helped along with my family when I had to be in Albany a couple days a week, and so really that family support and close knit family ties has been a huge factor in my life.
So, when you grow up, you were a famous kid, or you were?
No,
You
not
weren't?
no. No, just my parents were all my grandmother, my mom were very involved locally in things like that. So my family moved over from most of them grew up in Vermont. My mom's side of the family. My dad's from Buffalo, so he's related to nobody from here. He's like he's not related to anybody.
Talk about
anyway,
this.
so he met my mom in college and moved back here. But she grew up in Vermont. They moved over here when she was in high school. So that that was just typical of my family, just to dive right into the community and do what they could to make it a better place.
So, have you been in love when you were a teenager?
Yes, yes. So fun story. I got broken up with right before prom my junior year, and needed a prom date, and asked several friends who
So, on your prom date, he broke up with you?
No, let me get there.
Okay.
So
I'm getting excited.
This guy that we will not mention broke up with me shortly before prom. So I was kind of struggling to find a prom date, and one of my close friends, his cousin, my current husband, Eric, said, "Why don't you ask Eric?" And so I did. He went to the prom with me. We started dating. He was supposed to go off to college, and that was just supposed to be a fun little summer fling. And here we are, 26 years later. Yeah.
You've been with your husband
for 26 years. Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is a success.
Yes, we've been married for 21, and we've been together for 26. So.
And you get married after just.
We got married after college.
Spontaneous prom date.
Yeah, basically, yes.
He
was like the fourth person I asked. He knows this.
He knows. Okay, I was gonna ask you.
He knows.
He was. What a life! So, do you believe in energy and like what do you bring to universe comes back at you, or you know how sometimes we think like there is the perfect moment with the perfect person. That's what make things happen, or is it spontaneous like to you?
I think it's a little bit of both, right? And I think that too, people change, right? Like it's staying static is not what humans are meant to do, and so I think relationships are hard work, and if you're willing to put in the work, they can they'll go through their ups and downs just like everything. But I think that we were both in the right place at the right time, and we happened to be find our perfect partners. He is just my yin to my yang, and I mean we're complete opposites. But that's what makes us work.
So you feel like you the opposite?
Oh yeah.
In what way? Like what is the biggest
pick it? So I'm very shy, right?
Yeah.
But he is very shy. I can't even think. I mean, we're just the way our work ethics are just very different. The way we think about raising our children is different, but it's all about compromise and finding that middle ground, which is so lacking in today's world in so many ways.
How was your childhood?
My childhood was great. I mean, we went through some troubling times. My grandfather died the year before I was born. So my mom was pretty young when she lost her dad. So she moved into my grandmother's house to help her. So I was raised with my grandmother for the most part. Which was great because I didn't have to go to daycare. I stayed with my gram. And my aunt, my grandfather's sister was the kindergarten teacher at the time. So I got to have my aunt as kindergarten teacher, and she was, she was hard, but learned a lot from her. My dad lost his job when I was in, I think it was 7th grade. He was working for the college as a computer programmer, and there were some big cutbacks across the state at that time. So my dad kind of jumped from job to job for a while until he ended up going into customs. There were some tough times there, but when you have love and a good foundation, the house won't fall down.
Do you
Right?
have a period of time in your life when you were young that always stayed with you?
It's a good question. I think probably one of the biggest memories that stands out is my first big family trip, and it was just my mom, dad, and me before my sister was born. They took me to Ireland. And it was probably one of the most incredible experiences. And it's fuzzy, right? You
Yeah.
can only remember what you can from that time. But it was special because it was just me, my mom, and dad, and that was a really, really good time.
Really special time to you.
Yeah.
What is Molly passionate about in life?
I am passionate about making a difference, and whether that means making a difference in my kids' lives or making a difference in my community. I just want to leave things better than where it came from, where they came from. That's really important to me.
I always looked at you.
And I like wine.
And I like wine.
Very passionate about that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I always looked at you and you look young.
Oh, thank you.
And like all this accomplishment that you have.
Oh, thank you.
If someone that doesn't know you, they would not. Personally, that's a personal judgment
Thank you.
about you.
Thank you.
If someone that doesn't know you and see you walking around in the store, I would never think you are where you at.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And
I'm very proud.
Yes.
It's been a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. And a lot of sacrifices. But like I said, when you're doing the right thing, you end up in good places.
But when I go more deep in Molly's life, and like I said, if someone that doesn't know you and see you around, you don't look like you made it up there, And I think you did.
Thank you.
You do a lot in our community, and anyone that does for anything for the community has my own personal respect.
Thank you.
But if I wanted to ask you at the end of the day, or when you wake up in the morning, what makes you Molly and makes you the person that people would never even imagine what you went through?
I think probably the hardest thing was landing a job out of college. I came out, my husband had decided his senior year in Clarkson that he was not going to pursue physical therapy. And he was going to, he ended up going back to school to be a nurse at Plattsburgh. He was a year ahead of me, so he was at SUNY Plattsburgh while I was at St. Lawrence for a year. But so when I graduated, he hadn't finished school, so I moved back to Plattsburgh. The original plan was to move to DC, which I'm really glad I didn't do. So I moved back while he finished school, and I've never been afraid of hard work, right? Like I always had a job growing up. I had a paper route. I was a lifeguard. I waitress. I worked at McDonald's, all at one time. But when you go to school and you pay all this money for a good education, you expect to kind of waltz into a really good job. I ended up getting a job grooming dogs at PetSmart.
And I love that you said that. Someone out there going to look at you and your success and think, oh, she started.
Yeah. Dog grooming at PetSmart.
Not that you're putting this down.
Yeah. No.
You started in a...
Listen, I'll tell you what. It's a great skill to learn because I groom my own dogs. I don't have to pay to do that. That's expensive.
Yes.
I got to learn all about dog breeds. And so actually I'm very fascinated by dogs. Like when the dog show comes on Thanksgiving, I'm always like glued to it. I think it was hard. I graduated college in 2005. The recession happened, a year later. I actually had just landed a job. I worked at PetSmart, then I got a job as a temp at a law firm, applied for a whole bunch of jobs I didn't get. And
how does it work, and how did you feel, and how did you keep moving, not getting rejected?
Rejection sucks, right? Like nobody likes it. But you have to keep moving forward, right? Like you can't let yourself get stuck. So I just kept going, and I got a temp at a law firm, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll go back to law school. Glad I didn't do that either.
Do you ever think every rejection made you stronger?
Absolutely. I think you have to fall before you can climb, right? Because if you don't have that fall, you don't you take for granted at the top. And so, not that I'm near the top, but I just, it was hard. And then I ended up getting a job in real estate, got my realtor license. And the first couple of house sales I got, I was like, whoa, this is great, right? The houses were flying and I was making commission. And then the housing market tanked.
Oh. I love hearing that,
yeah.
Molly.
And so I was selling nothing. And I was, only a year out of college. My loans were starting to come due. My husband was still in school. He was working part-time at the hospital, going to school full-time. We had just had my daughter. So I had her about, I think we'd been married for almost a year when I got pregnant for her. So, so we had a baby that actually had a lot of health issues when she was first born. And, back then health insurance wasn't what it is now. And we had a ton of medical bills and it was rough. It was really, really rough. And that's when I got a job on the congressional campaign, which was a historic congressional campaign. It was the only congressional campaign in the United States at the time because it was a special election. So there was like a million national resources. I mean, I worked with some people that worked directly for Obama and like the Clintons and like all these like really high powered people were here running this campaign because it was a pivotal seat. It meant the healthcare vote. That was the crucial vote. So, we had a lot of resources and it was insane. But like I said, thankfully my mom was, watching my daughter at home while my husband was still, trying to get his, he was working nights. He'd become a nurse at that time. But it was a lot, campaigns are run pretty much from 3 to 11 in the afternoon. I was in charge of the canvassing portion. So then when I recruited people to walk doors myself. And it turned out okay. It doesn't always. So
And how's your daughter now?
How old is my daughter?
No, how is she doing now?
Oh, she's
Why?
great. She's great. Yes, it was fixed by the time she was about a year old. But she was born with what's called a duplex kidney and a uricocele issue. So basically, her bladder wasn't releasing any of the urine; it was just kind of backing up. So she had to have some. Her kidneys like 2 in 1, so she gets like she has like 3 kidneys. So they had to just move things around. But when first time mom, she was, she had 2 surgeries before she was 6 months old, and it was tough. But no, now we say if somebody needs a kidney, we're gonna go to her because she got 3. So
things work out.
Yeah. So no, she worked out she's just fine. And but yeah. So it was an experience, and like I said, the campaigns don't you win some, you lose some, and when you lose, man, it's you've put in a lot of work and it feels like maybe for nothing. But fortunately for us, it turned out okay, and I ended up getting a job as the director of his Plattsburgh office.
And what's the hardest thing you've ever been through, Mom?
Oh, watching my daughter be really, really sick like that was horrible. It was a situation where she was rushed to the ER. They put her in the trauma room. It's just this tiny little baby, and they're putting all this stuff on her. They brought her to the X-ray, and I don't know if you've ever seen a baby get an X-ray before. But it's this tube that they put them in, and she was just screaming, and it was just awful. It was awful. Like I said, she's fine now, but that was very, very difficult.
It makes you feel like nothing is more important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I admire that you shared that with us,
Yeah.
and I truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
So what's love means to you, even though you've been 20-some years?
Yes.
Very happy for you.
Yes.
But how is love means to Molly?
Love is, I think I touched on it earlier, love is compromise.
Yeah.
If you love somebody, you try to meet them where they're at, and they give you the same in return. And that goes for your husband, your kids, your friends, your family. Nobody should try and change anybody or make them who they're not. And, so meeting people where they're at while also understanding they got to meet you sometimes too. I think that's what love is.
What would you tell yourself 20 years ago?
Oh, 20 years ago, God, I would have been 22. I just graduated from college. Wow. Making me feel old.
You're
Nadia.
still so young. Don't brag.
Keep going.
Yes.
It'll be okay.
Yeah.
This might suck right now, but it's gonna be okay. You're gonna get there. You're gonna have, everything. I'm so lucky. We have a beautiful little house. It's not, a mansion by any means, but we love it.
It's our home.
It's our home. and it's a pretty nice home, and it's in a wonderful neighborhood, and we have, I've been very fortunate in my life that there's not been a lot of, I haven't experienced a lot of death yet in my family. Knock on wood. We did tragically lose one of my cousins in a car accident right when my son was born, actually, which he's named after my cousin, Patrick, my cousin Patrick. But other than that, I've lost my grandparents and a lot, but that's an expected part of life. But so I've been fortunate to be shielded from any sort of massive tragedy. And
So
I'm
I
fortunate
don't
for that.
usually when I ask that questions, I have an idea about the answer, but I'm gonna ask you that
Okay.
questions,
Sure.
and I don't have an idea
Okay.
because you carry yourself
Yeah.
in a way of business.
Yeah. Yes.
So if I want to ask you now to give us the chance, what kind of person are you? Like deep person or romantic or?
I'm a hopeless romantic, which
Really?
I married the most least romantic person on the planet.
Are you really hopeless
Yes.
romantic?
Oh, I like, yeah.
I love to hear
like the
that.
flowers and the all, like, I love it. Yes, and I do believe in true love, and I'm fortunate that I think I found mine, even if he's not a hopeless romantic. I told you we're perfect opposites. But I really think that's why it works. And I'm empathetic to a fault.
Meaning?
I I feel like I'm an empath. I feel other people's pain. I take on people's pain, and that's sometimes to my detriment. I'm a fixer. I want to fix it, right? I can make it better, right?
Yeah.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
And that's who I've been my whole life. I've always been a fixer, and which is probably why I did so well in politics. So I see a situation, and I'm like, fix that. But it all comes back to, I like leaving things better off than where I started, and but that comes from the deep part of me that is truly empathetic, and really cares. So, but yeah, I'll cry at every movie. If it, like I said, if somebody's crying, I'm gonna cry.
Yes.
So but that's who I am.
What are you afraid of?
Spiders.
Oh.
I'm terrified of spiders. But I do have a story.
Yeah.
So you can probably see there's like this little mark on my lip. When I was little, I woke up and they said it was a spider bite, and my lip like got really, really swollen, which they say that you swallow like a certain amount of spiders in your lifetime, right? And so I am petrified. Like even the teeniest, tiniest spider, I am petrified of.
So it's being sensitive first. I always try to make sure I'm sensitive.
Yes.
But in the same time, please forgive my ignorance.
It's okay.
Is that true that you actually find out?
Yes,
Or,
you
or
do.
It's a...
No, that's a statistic. You do, like, every single person will swallow a certain amount of spiders in their lifetime.
Really?
Oh, yes.
I did not know
Yes.
that. Why would you say
But I have
So
a true
true.
phobia, because like my sister was saying, oh yeah, people are afraid of spiders. But there was this one time where there was this spider that landed on my mom's shoulder, and I was sitting beside her, and my sister just started laughing at me because she can see me trying to get the spider off of my mom, and I am frozen. Like I just can't do it. And she's laughing at me hysterically. So she's like, you are the definition of arachnophobia. And I know.
So there is truth to it. It's true.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. And then, and it is the reason for...
That's why I'm afraid of them.
Think that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want them to touch me. Gross little things.
So
I realize that they serve a very large benefit in the ecosystem, but I don't have to see them.
I don't want it.
I don't want to.
So that's the only fear you have?
Yeah. I'm really not afraid of things.
Yeah.
I'm a daredevil,
Yeah.
like I love fast roller coasters. I love the thought of, I've done zip lining. I've done, I would like to skydive someday.
But not the spider.
I'm not afraid of death. A lot of people are afraid of death. I feel like that's just a natural part of life. I don't want to see dead people. My daughter's going into mortuary science. That's her thing. But yeah,
it's a tough one.
It is needed though. But I mean, I'm not afraid of dying. It's not, there are things that bother me. Like, I don't want to come down with a terminal disease, but I just feel like I've always kind of approached things as, with a try to be a positive, even I'm that person, like I'm the one that's a realist, and I'm going to take a situation head on, and we're going to deal with it, and we're going to just move forward, right? You know, my sister, my mom will tell you that I'm the mean parent, and my sister is the relaxed one and the empathetic one. You know, my sister, if my mom's upset about something, you know, my sister would probably cry. I'm like, all right, let's go, pick your feet up. We're gonna take this head on. It's gonna be all right.
So how do you convince yourself I'm not afraid of death?
I just think it's part. I think if you believe, I am a religious person. I am what I call a cafeteria Catholic, so I pick and choose what I like to believe. But I'm a practicing Catholic. I believe very deeply in the faith, and so I think if you believe in a higher power and that there's something beyond this world for us that's meant for us, that you shouldn't be afraid of death. It's part of life.
So what kind of parents are you? You just said you're a strong parent, but truly.
Yeah. So my husband will tell you, or my kids will probably also tell you that I'm harder on my daughter than I am my son, which I think is more of an older child than boy versus girl thing. My daughter is a complicated person, and she's what I call my little contrarian. She's always wanted to do something that's contrary to the normal. And
But do you believe she's a copy of you?
No, she's much more like her father.
Okay.
Much more like her father. But she's all, you know, typical girl. She knows how to push her mother's buttons when she needs to. But, you know, it's been wonderful watching her grow into this adult that she's now become. And she's always, you know, she's struggled. You know, she's a COVID kid. She was in 8th grade when the lockdowns happened. It's the most pivotal time of a teenage girl's life.
I agree.
And she's just like her father, so she's very shy anyway. So that was very hard on her, and she struggles with anxiety and depression like a lot of kids this age did. And of course, what did I do back then? I handed her Instagram because I thought, well, it's a way for her to keep connection with her kids.
About this, Molly.
Oh, if I could do it all over again, I'd take it back in a heartbeat. And Kale doesn't get social media. None for him. He doesn't like it, but it's too bad.
Yeah.
So.
But as a mom, how do you deal with that? How did you deal with that?
For her, I mean, we got her help. You know, we went. I think mental health is important. I think therapy is important. I think everybody should have a therapist. I know it's not for everybody, but I think therapy could help every single person. I go to therapy. I think it's good to talk to somebody who has a different perspective and can help make you a better person. But we got her therapy, and I think it's, especially someone who struggles with severe anxiety and depression, that's really important that you have a professional to talk to. And so she's really come into her own in college, and I'm so proud of her. But as what am I like as a parent? I have high standards for my kids. I, you know, as long as they try their best. You know, I was just fighting with my son because he failed chorus. I'm like, how does one fail chorus? And he has 90, you know, high 90s and everything else. And he was like, I didn't go. And I was like, it's something to do. I'm like, oh no. I said, you could get a 70 in a class, and as long as you were trying your best, I don't care.
Yeah.
But you don't try your best, we're gonna have a problem. So nice little discussion we had the other night. And I my standards are, you know, you have to try your best. And always do give something your all. But I've also, my kids are they're spoiled. You know, I'm also a travel agent on the side. So, you know, we've done our fair share of traveling, and they've been to Disney, I don't even know, at least once for a year of their life, I think. And I brought them on a cruise this past January to the Caribbean, and we went to Cozumel and Belize and Honduras. It was really cool. And they got back and they're like, we just don't think cruising is for us. And I'm like, that's nice. And I said, you went to like all these different countries. You saw the Mayan temples. And what would you rather do? They're like, no, we just rather go to Disney. And I'm like, I hate you guys. So,
are you a Disney person?
Oh, we're huge Disney fanatics. Huge Disney fanatics. If I could go every year, I would. But
so, what Disney makes you feel like?
Oh, I have been a Disney kid since I was always a Disney kid. I was an only child for 9.5 years, so you know, pretend is, you know, something you have to entertain yourself. I'm the funniest person I know. So, but you know, I would play pretend in the pool. Ariel is my favorite, which is ironic that I would marry a guy named Eric.
I did not see that side of you before.
Yeah. Oh, Ariel's my favorite princess. So yeah, I've always been a Disney kid, Disney princesses, all the things. And but it's not just Disney is an experience, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so much to it's not just it's not a, I say it to people, it's not a theme park, it's an experience.
Mm.
And it truly is, because the rides are great and I love thrill rides, but the shows that you see, or some of the best meals I've had in my life were at Disney World. The food, just the experience. And yeah, it's crowded and whatever, but it's just, yeah, I love everything about Disney.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did not see
Yeah,
that.
yeah, huge Disney freak. Yep.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yep. Yeah.
So, have you traveled outside the country?
Oh yeah. In fact, I took my kids to. Well, remember I told you I went to Ireland when I was
Yeah.
little. But I've since been back to Ireland twice as an adult. My daughter went when she was 3, so she doesn't really remember it. But she's actually thinking she might want to do a study abroad there. So I'm like, oh good, I'll go back. I took my kids to Greece 2 years ago. We did a Greek Isle cruise. That was phenomenal. They loved that one. They just didn't like the Caribbean. So and let's see, where else have I been? I've been to France. I've got a lot on my list, but
I was gonna say
I've done most of the Caribbean islands. I've been to Hawaii, which is not outside the country, but
yes,
feels it.
But do you have a bucket list?
Oh yeah,
away from traveling, just a bucket list.
Oh, away
That's
from traveling. Well,
yes.
traveling is my bucket list. I the travel agent on the side gig is my way to support my travel addiction habit, because I love
that.
traveling.
That's very smart.
As far as travel is concerned, I'd love Alaska's next on my list, I think, and then we want to do like we've decided we're cruisers, my husband, and it's a great way to see so many places, and you only unpack once. Now you don't get to probably do some of the more authentic things, but I'll get a taste of it, and then maybe if I really like it, we'll go back. Like we loved Belize. I was like, oh, I would go back to Belize in a heartbeat. Just spend time in that country. So bucket list though, I want to skydive. I haven't skydived. I skydived. I don't know. I dove. I have not done that. I do want to do that. This is a travel thing, but I really want to see the pyramids. I really let's see what else I want to do. I don't know. I've been pretty lucky. I've done a lot of things.
I'm telling you, you're one of the people that you've done a lot.
Yeah.
In which I love that for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because maybe I want to ask you this.
Sure.
And not maybe, I wanted to ask you this. Do you believe you are where you are because you pay attention to other people's life, so you learn from others?
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
did you have the experience of learning? Which one are you?
I think that's the people. I think it's people that I learn from. I was a good student in school, but I was not naturally smart. I had to really work hard for my grades, and so people around me would help shape how I learn. My husband would laugh at this. I don't listen very well. I'm not a good auditory learner,
Yeah.
so I reading reading and writing is how I really absorb things, and so I used to read all the time when I was a kid. I mean, I would go from one book to the next. R.L. Stein, baby, I couldn't get enough goosebumps, right? Ben knows what I'm talking about. But that would, getting those experiences, like Bridge to Terabithia is one of my favorite books, right? And to me, it was about, you learn about how to be a good friend and how to experience something like death and how you get through something like that. Where the Red Fern Grows. Those are just classic books that left a lasting imprint on my childhood. And they were all, as much as I love the Goosebump books, I love those deep books about personal connection.
Do you think sometimes you get in the feeling of being a deep person?
I think so. I think I think very deeply, probably too deeply sometimes. And overthink. I overthink things all the time. I will constantly play out situations in my head and go, could I have done this? Could I have done this? Could I have done this? So
I'm glad you say that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do it, but we all think we're the only one.
Yeah, I overthink every situation. I overthink before it happens. I overthink after it happens. So, I think that's. Yeah, I think you're right. Everybody thinks you're alone in that sense, but so many of us try and I think if you're a good person, you're gonna sit back and go, could I have done that differently, right? And sometimes you could have, and sometimes you can't. And I think you have to be able to sit with whatever that is and be able to move on. So,
what does life in all means to you?
I think life is about taking opportunities to bring joy to your life.
Mm.
I think as I've gotten older, life has been more about learning how to say no, because it's a very hard, for me at least, it's a very hard thing for me to do. I'm a big fan of not only this podcast, but I love the IMO podcast with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson.
Oh.
And they talk a lot about this. And Michelle talks a lot about her journey with, once she left the White House and what that's looked like and doing things for her. And I think as you get older, you have to realize you have to pay attention to yourself and your needs. As I told you, I'm a fixer, right?
Mm.
So I think life is about making sure your cup has enough joy in it, not just everybody else.
Molly, I love that you bring that and the podcast that you listen to, because I hope it brings us more closer to the purpose of this podcast.
Yeah.
Locally, as
Yep.
our leaders,
Yep.
also
Yep.
how we can help each other and help
Exactly.
the new generation, and
Exactly.
help the one next to us.
Yep.
How we're all the same. You feel
Yep.
the fear.
Yep.
You're afraid of the
Yeah.
spite.
Yes.
You overthink. So many of us
Right.
share the same value
Right.
in life.
Right.
It's almost like we all the same, but we never really talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you agree on
I
that?
agree 120% because you have to be vulnerable to talk about it.
Yes.
And particularly for women, I think vulnerability is looked at as a weakness sometimes,
Yep.
right? And so we're, as women, and especially, career driven women, you're taught you have to be everything to everybody at all times. It's this is going to sound very cliche, but have you seen the Barbie movie?
Yeah, I get it.
The speech at the end that she gives
I
about
get
women,
it.
like it's impossible to be all things at once. And you have to, like, at some point realize it is impossible to be all things at once.
Yes.
And so it's okay. You and I are the same. Like, we give 120% to whatever we do, but nobody even sees when you don't, like, it's okay to only give 80% because you're still giving 80%, right? It's okay to be on an 80% day because nobody even notices the extra 20%.
Yes.
Only
you. It's okay not to be okay.
Yes. Yes.
It's okay. Like, sometimes we all not okay.
Yeah.
Like, where do you give yourself into yourself and start crying?
I think I've always struggled with what if I was a good enough mom.
Mm.
My mom was what I tell her all the time, like a much better mom than I am. And she's, she's been very gracious. She's like, I wasn't a better mom. We're just different moms. And that's because, I had to cut, like, I grew up in the Pinterest mom era, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were always, the elf had to be not just in a different place. The elf had to be, the elf on the shelf, for those who don't know what I'm talking about. But, the elf had to have, an accident with the milk on the floor, or had to, like, do all these spectacular things. And I feel like there was a time when, especially with the Pinterest moms, we were all trying to one up each other. Like, well, I did it this way and I did it this way. And you're putting it on for display to see how well you did it, right? And so it was this pressure to be really, really good. And I think that for me, I worried that I wasn't good enough. And I did have to put some boundaries in for myself to be, it's okay that I am choosing my career instead of going to this one basketball game.
Yep.
There'll be hundreds of basketball games. But there's a balance to that, right? Like, I mean, that was primarily the reason I stepped back from my role as chief of staff. Ultimately, I was missing a lot of my kids. And I didn't want to miss it all. So, I think there's a balance there. And I think I'm finally getting to that point, as a mom, and trying to realize that I am good enough. But, I think it's always in the back of my mind of whether I've done a good enough job.
And I always say about that, like, I'll share my thought, is like, they don't come with manual.
No.
And
no. And they're both so different.
Yes.
My kids couldn't be more different. And I don't think I did anything differently. Like, my daughter will eat sushi and, like, she'll eat anything, right? Like, veal, just put it in front of her, she'll try it. My son lives on chicken nuggets and french fries. Like, he won't even use pepper, for God's sakes. And I'm like, what is wrong with you two? Like, I gave you all the same foods. Like, I made you try all that. And he's as laid back as she is anxious.
It's amazing.
It's so incredible.
It's amazing.
They couldn't be more opposite, but they're both wonderful, wonderful humans in their own special way.
Yes.
But you always wonder, did I do enough? Am I doing enough? What can I do differently? Right.
And that's, again, it comes from the overthinking.
Yep.
The way we are as a woman, we have to do, like, we're
Do it all.
discussing
Yeah.
this to
Yeah.
help people
Yeah.
that we all feel the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, they
Yeah.
all.
That's why the Barbie speech hits with so many people, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, she got it.
I found this.
That's exactly how I feel all the time.
And I feel like with kids, they don't come with manual.
No.
I saw something the other day. Really, I stopped and thought about it. Where they said your mother was the first time mother on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just great. I heard that
Yeah.
on a podcast too.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
you know, we are me, you.
Yeah.
We. That's our first time
Right.
to be a mom on this
Right.
planet.
Right.
So we did the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you do different away from kids, away from career? If time goes back, would you choose a different career?
Absolutely not.
No.
No, in fact, I like I said, there were times when I thought, I'm going to go be a lawyer. I'm going to go do this. And I couldn't have even, if you could have told me I would have been in the world of economic development when I came out of college, I would have said you were crazy.
Mm.
But I have had a phenomenal career. Obviously, I've made mistakes with my kids. We all do. But I think I've done a lot of good with them, and they, like I said, they're good. They're good little humans, and I'm proud of them, and I'm proud of the marriage I have. I'm proud. I wouldn't change a thing. Not a thing. I don't think my 22-year-old self would buy that argument, because I was going to go off. I was never coming back here. I was going to go climb the chain in the political ladder. And I'll tell you what, I'd never run for office. Never. Couldn't pay me enough money to run for office. I did run for school board once. I lost. I'm not a very good loser, and I'll never run for anything
How
again.
did you face that, Molly?
It sucked. It was terrible. It was terrible. I was in the job I'm in now, so it was not that long ago. I thought, I just want to make a difference for my kids at school, and I thought, it's a school board election. I'll win this hands down. And I did not.
Everything you did.
I did not. I got my butt kicked. I know everything about elections, and I couldn't win my own. So
See, I love that.
but it was an ego bruiser, one that I needed.
Yeah.
One that I needed.
See, I don't love that you lost. I love that you tell people like how great achiever you are, and how did you face that, and especially what you did for a living.
Yeah, yeah.
And then your own election.
Yeah, and I got my butt kicked.
Oh.
And it was.
How did you wake up? How did you take the news?
Not well. Came home and I cried. Poured a very big glass of wine. No, it was a ego bruiser, and I think anybody that runs for an office, and I think Brandy said it on her thing. She said, nobody runs for office in any position wanting to lose. That's not what you do.
Yeah. If you wanted to meet that person.
I don't think they exist. I know people I've looked at going, you ain't gonna win, but nobody goes into it thinking they're going to lose or wanting to lose. And so when you lose, especially when you're really hoping that you're going to win, it hurts. I've known a lot of people that have lost elections that will tell you the exact same thing. That was no different, but it did teach me that if I ever had the crazy thought of running for office, which I had said before, I work for politicians. I don't ever want to become one, because when I worked for my first politician, I worked for Hillary Clinton, actually, was my first politician I worked for. Man, they're told where to be, what to do. I like to do the telling. So I'll work for them. But I don't want to be one. If I'd ever thought about it, that dose of losing a school board election really cured me of any thought of that. So,
but Molly, do you believe, and that brings me to thinking of something as women, and that sometimes we need it. Like I personally, when something like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I'm not
perfect. What are you talking about?
Do you think like sometimes we need that?
But that's kind of goes back to what I said in the beginning, is that you have to, in order to grow, you have to fall, right? Yes. In order to climb, you're going to fall a couple times.
Yeah.
It's always take the beaten path, because the smooth one, you're not going to appreciate where you're going, I don't think.
Yeah.
It makes you a better person, and it makes you stronger. It makes you more appreciative. It makes you a more empathetic person, because you can understand what it's like for someone in those shoes.
Yeah.
And that's important, because that's how we relate as people.
Yeah.
People who have never had it hard and just had everything handed to them, they couldn't sit here and talk to you or I,
Yeah. And say, yes, I'm sad,
Yeah.
I'm worried, I'm
Yeah.
scared,
Yeah.
I have a
You
fear.
might be able to throw money at it, but that's all
Yeah.
they're going to be able to do. You know, they don't
That's
really
so
understand.
true.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
so true. So
Yeah.
if you have that, and I ask a bit,
And that's not to say people that might have money haven't gone through hard times.
I
take
got
that
it.
back.
No, I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
But really, to have empathy,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to hit the
Yeah.
bottom rock.
Yeah.
And we really, I always say, we really have to have empathy.
Yeah.
For each other.
Yep. Yep.
So if you have the power, and don't, like I said before, don't say world peace and all that stuff to change something.
Yes.
Not politician. Just in human. What would you do?
What would I change?
Yeah.
I wish people would learn how to talk to each other again. I wish people would understand that you can have differences of opinion and you still can be friends with that person.
Yeah.
That you can argue about something and even still like that person afterwards. I think that we've lost our ability to see the other sides of things. Just a dose of kindness goes a long way, and we've really lost that, and people are just so angry, and I think COVID just made that all the worse, and politics are making it worse, and it just I wish we could go back. I don't want to say go back. I wish we could remember how to talk to each other again, and respect each other.
And understand that everyone is battling something.
Yes. You never know what's going on with somebody.
Yeah.
You never know. And likely there's something that they are battling, whether it's, mental health or weight or relationships or something, nobody's perfect. Somebody's always struggling with something. And so just remembering that you don't know what the weight of that somebody else is carrying. And so even that person who was screaming, maybe they were having a terrible freaking day, right? So I just think we've lost our ability to. I have so many friends that have so many different ideologies than me, and I don't buy into the fact that just because somebody believes one thing or another that makes them a good or bad person.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you that it doesn't make you.
We all are different, and that's what makes us great.
Yeah.
If we were all the same, that would really kind of suck.
Molly, I can't help it but ask you something.
Sure.
Have you, and you have all the power to decline, struggle mentally or in life that it makes you who you are with the empathy you have today?
Yeah. I mean, you go from something that you're really, really good at, which I thought I was really good at, and I loved. And I went to something I really had no idea what I was doing. And I had to kind of assimilate back into this 9-to-5 world that I hadn't been a part of in quite a while. And it was really hard. I was used to walking into rooms and having people pay attention to me because I was the right hand of the guy that everybody loved.
I believe you.
And then all of a sudden to be sitting in the back of the room is hard. It's a hard thing to deal with. But again, I just, I always been a hard worker. I had a vision. I knew where I wanted to get, and I just took a little struggle to get there. So, but yeah, and like I said, I started going to therapy and working through emotions and reasons of the ways I may act, and learning more about yourself is really important, and it makes you an even stronger person. If you can understand yourself, you can better understand other people.
I love that you shared that with us.
Yep.
Because really people underestimate the power of changing life.
Yep.
Your
Yep.
routine, your
Yep.
life.
Yep.
Wake up in the morning, it takes.
Yep. And now I love this job, right? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know I could love this job in the way that I mean, truly, truly love this job.
Because you have to go through.
Yep.
We all have to go through everything in order
Yep.
to have that empathy.
Yes. Yep.
Or,
Yep.
the feeling
Yep.
for other people.
Yep. Yep.
What is your biggest, who's your hero?
Oh, my mom, definitely. Just because she's always been so many things for so many people, including my sister and I, and my children. The relationship she has with my children, she's always taught me that if you give it your best, that is enough. And as long as you're giving it your best, and that's probably why I have those standards for my kids, but because my mom's always given it her best, and I think that she's a breast cancer survivor. Having watched her battle that was hard, but she fought it. She won, and She's also lost an incredible amount of weight in her later part in her life. Not, watching her on her health journey has been um, fantastic to watch. And, she too is a very empathetic individual and was always trying to just help other people. Um, so, yeah, definitely my mom.
So is therapy a good thing to do?
What's that?
To go into a therapy is a good thing.
Oh, I think everybody should have a therapist. I told you. I think having the, it's like, let me just put it this way. But I would say you should not book travel on your own. You choose a travel agent because they're somebody. You're not, first of all, paying any extra for it. Most people do have insurance that will cover some kind of therapy, and you're working with somebody who's a professional in that world. And in therapy, it's no different, right? You're talking to somebody who's been trained to work through various issues that people have in life, and sometimes it's just, I call it some now like preventative therapy. I go in, I'm like, I can see this starting to go a little sideways. Let's talk that out and let's see how I can figure out how to not make it go sideways, kind of thing. So I just think it's always good to have, and therapy can come in a lot of different ways, right? This can be therapy, just talking like this, talking to your friends, talking to someone about your feelings and making sure that you're okay with your own feelings is important. So, like I said, it can come in different forms, but I think everybody needs to be able to open up about what they're feeling at the moment to help them get through those feelings.
I love that. So, do you think we're doing enough with the mental health these days?
Oh, I think we can always do more. I think that mental health has become, particularly because of COVID. I think I was listening to this speaker recently, and she said something that I had never thought of, is that there's never been an instance like COVID where everybody experienced something horrible during that time, right? Like we were all going through a lockdown. Internationally, we were all going through a lockdown at the same time.
Yeah.
So what that does to people is crazy, right? Like we all experience something very different. Like for me, my sister came home and I moved into my parents with my kids, and my husband stayed in the house because he's a nurse and he does at the time was doing orthopedics, and so his floor became the overflow COVID unit, right? And we didn't know what we were dealing with at the time. And so and for me, I was working from home trying to homeschool my kids. I remember my mom, like, maybe a week, and she's a retired teacher, right? She comes in, she goes, I know I was a teacher for 33 years, but I can't teach your kids. She's like, it's not that they're not teachable. She goes, I don't want to be their teacher. I'm their grandmother, and this is not going well. So, but you're trying to do all those things. I was working from home, and my job on Wednesdays was to be on phone duty. And fortunately, I only had 1 day a week, and the other two employees in my office took 2 days a week. And but that phone started at 8 a.m. and it didn't stop until I shut off at 5. With people calling me mostly about unemployment and how they weren't gonna be able to afford their medicine, they weren't gonna be able to afford groceries, they all gonna lose our house, all these things. And right before and thinking about this lady, when she said everybody went through this and something experienced something, I was telling somebody this at a conference I was at, and it just so happened that most of us had state like positions at the time who were doing the same exact thing, taking those calls day in and day out. And until we started having that shared experience, we didn't realize how much it impacted us, right? And so it was like, wow, that really, it really affected me to know. I was like, yeah, it was tough because I was trying to homeschool my kids and do that, but I was also, as I told you, I'm an empath kind of person, and so I was taking all these crying people's feelings or angry people's feelings and having to internalize that every Wednesday. And it never got any better. Eventually it got better, but so I think as far as mental health is concerned, we all experienced something very traumatic during that time, and I think that's why we're seeing just such a stark shift in exacerbating mental health issues. Is that point in time really started pushing people over the tipping edge. And we've got to get back to kindness, and we can always do more in the realm of mental health, because I believe everybody struggles with their mental health one way or the other, whether it's overthinking, whether it's anxiety, whether it's depression, whether it's a more serious condition. Everybody has some sort of mental health that they have to work on, and we need to have conversations like this more, so that it shouldn't be a stigma in any way to say that you need help ever.
I love you said that, and that's the whole purpose of doing that. It's to get people to talk.
It's saying that, not telling somebody that you need help. That's what's wrong.
Yes.
You should never feel that you're doing something wrong when you're asking for help. Asking for help is always the right answer.
That is so true. And I have a questions that I want to ask you. You said you always want to walk out of any place that you walk in better.
Yes.
But if you have the power, if they Google your name, you're the one going to put the first search.
Yeah.
You're going to search your name.
Yeah.
You have the power to explain who you are.
Yeah.
What's the 3 first searches going to come? It can be one. It's up to you.
Now, or what it will be in the future?
What do you hope for?
What do I hope for? I hope that my name will be associated with building a community center in what used to be the Bluff Point campus for Clinton Community College. Because I think that is a true opportunity to create something really, really special for our community that has never been before. And I hope that I'm associated with that in some way. And then you said 3 things?
You can, yes.
3 things. I hope that, so I'm very involved in my church, and I organize the parade there. And I hope that at some point they'll find that I'm not associated with that parade, because I'm sick of doing it. So they'll be like, "Oh, Molly's final year." It's a wonderful thing. It's just it's an intense. I've been doing it for 10 years. I'm actually working with the town right now to see how we can work with them to do it. So, but I don't know. I guess. I mean, I said that, like, my big thing. I don't know. I don't know what else I could.
That's
yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this quick because we have to do that. Chicken or steak?
Steak.
What kind of music?
Pop. Taylor Swift.
You're Taylor Swift?
Oh, yeah.
I did not expect that.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Not that I'm judging.
Love Taylor Swift.
And I'm not going to say what I like it
That's
or not.
All right. That's all right.
Oh, it's okay.
There's people who love Taylor Swift and people who aren't. And
yes.
I'm on the right side of history. I'll tell you that.
Oh my God. I discovered that challenge and this debate a few years ago.
Yes.
And I was like, is that a debate? Like, it was a debate.
Listen, you can like her music or not like her music. You can't take away from the fact that she's one of the most successful marketing businesswomen I've ever seen in my entire life. She changed economies. So that's,
that's your...
I love Taylor Swift.
What kind of movies?
Scary movies.
Scary movies?
Yeah.
How about... you said, I can't believe it. The Taylor Swift.
I do like the Eras concert tour. It's a great movie as well.
Oh. What's your favorite movie? Like
The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard.
I actually have an entire room that's dedicated to the Wizard of Oz and the collection that I have.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I love that. So Molly, I can't thank you enough for being with us today, and
thank you for having me.
I really enjoyed this. I truly did, and we're gonna ask you to come again.
Okay.
Talk about certain issues.
Sure.
And all of the above. I can't
Wonderful.
thank you enough. Thank you. All right, Plattsburgh, New York. Thank you for being here. And actually, I wanted to share something today, exactly today, and it was a Sunday, March 29, where we had our first recording episode. So thank you for making this happen. Bear with us. We're going to go more faster as we go with all the changes that it's been happening. So Plattsburgh, New York, Clinton County, thank you for listening, and thank you for knowing that we are all the same, and be ready to be here next time. Good night, everyone.